Hello, here for another vinyl update. It's my second try of this video. I got all choked up on the first try. So, coming to you from Hernando's Hideaway, I have rechristened my record room as Hernando's Hideaway. The little story behind that is sort of like an inside joke just for me, really. Hernando's Hideaway is a song from the movie soundtrack The Pajama Game. And one of the jobs I used to have quite a few years ago, we had like a little office under the stairs, and I had redecorated it, or had decorated it from floor to ceiling with posters of rock bands and weirdness and such, and had named it Hernando's Hideaway, even had that on the door. And the other guys I worked with had called it that too, so I thought, what better name for my record room instead of just saying that? I'll just call it Hernando's Hideaway from now on. So that's where I am. We went to a record show, a record fair, Saturday. It was the Northside Record Fair presented by Torn Light Records. I'd been to Torn Light Records before. I think they have 2 locations now. A nice little quaint store located in Bellevue, Kentucky. You can go to tornlightrecords.com for the website, and then on the other side here is just like a chart of all the vendors and what kind of records they carried, what genres and stuff. But we went to the record fair. It was on Saturday. Early bird was at 10 o'clock, and then regular admission was at 11 o'clock, and we went at 11. And I only bought one record, believe it or not. I don't think that's ever happened anywhere, as far as, well, especially a record fair, but it hardly ever happens, I'll just say it that way. And the reason for that is, it was just so packed. And I'd been to this record show once before, and the aisles are like, you know, if you're looking at records here and here, there's just not enough space in between for people to walk. And it's just like elbow to elbow, which I know record fairs are busy, but this one's just, it's not in a big enough room. So I think they need to, have a bigger space. So it was just really hard to look at things. I want to say that I probably got to look at maybe half or less than half of what was there. And it was so ungodly hot in that room. There was a point where Kat said, well, I'm just going to go sit outside, because she knew I was almost done, because I really wasn't having much luck. So that's why I only bought one record. And we had planned to go to some record stores afterwards, so if it hadn't been for that, we wouldn't have got anything, or I wouldn't have. Actually, Kat got quite a few things, and Eli was with us, and also Corey and his wife was there, and Jaron. So we got to meet up with all them, which that was, worth the trip alone. So the one record that I got was The Replacements, Let It Be from 1984. This is a reissue on Rhino, and the guy marked it down for me. He was a really nice guy. And this is just on black vinyl. He was really nice, and he threw in a let me get it here. He threw in a CD of the Replacements Forest Hills, New York City reunion concert in 2014. So that was really nice. And this record, the reason I wanted to get it, not only because I didn't have any replacements on vinyl, is because I'd read a book lately, or recently, and I'd showed it in a previous video. It's called Old Records Never Die. And it's about a guy trying to get his actual records that he owned from his record collection, the actual ones. And Let It Be was like one of his, all-time had-to-find-it records. So that just encouraged me to want to see if I could find it. And then I also bought this. We went to, that was all I got at the record fair. And went to a couple record stores after that. And I bought this one. This one's called Sorry Ma, Forgot to Take Out the Trash. I have this on CD, but like I said, I didn't have any replacements on vinyl. And this was pressed on vinyl for the first time in over 20 years. And there's the label. It's just black vinyl. So had to get me some replacements. Then also I picked up some stuff that I've been holding out on forever. You know, C records, and you know, it's like I always have other stuff, and then I put them back, and you know, so this is one that I've been wanting to get for a long time. It's the Residence Eskimo. This comes with a download card. I listened to this one yesterday, and it's quite different. I mean, the Residents in general are quite different. Anybody that's familiar with the Residents would know that. But this one is actual, I'll just read the back of it here a little bit. North of Greenland, well within the Arctic Circle, and on the floating ice continent surrounding the North Pole, lived a nomadic tribe of Mongolian descendants known as the Eskimo. So it's basically a soundtrack to that, basically, with sound effects and stuff. So it's very interesting. So I'd like to get some more of the Residents. I have a few others of theirs on vinyl. And then I also got another record that I wanted, or artist that I wanted, Teenage Jesus and the Jerks, live 77 and 79, 277, 79. And this one is made in Germany. And let me take the sleeve out. It's just a black sleeve, white label on one side, black on the other. It's just black vinyl. James Chance plays saxophone on this record. And if you're not familiar with Teenage Jesus and the Jerks, Lydia Lunch was in this band. And I just was always intrigued by it. And I've been on a no-wave, because they're considered a no-wave artist, sort of avant-garde. So I'm on a kick of sort of indie, goth, punk, alternative, no-wave lately. So wanted to pick that up. Another one that I'd read about that's like one of their most popular, and I guess that are quite popular anyway, is the Jesus and the Mary Chain. And this one's called Psycho Candy. And I didn't have any of them on vinyl. This one has Just Like Honey on it. I listened to some of this online. It's like, that sounds really good. It's like a continuation of what I would consider garage rock from the 60s. But this came out in 1986, 1985. So it's the Jesus and the Mary Chain. And I'm familiar with the group. I just didn't have anything on vinyl. I'd like to get their other one, Automatic, and maybe go from there. And then pick this up just based on the fact that it's a compilation, which I'm all about. And it's a cool cover. It's called Killed by Meth, Rust Belt Rockers. And it's just, like I said, a compilation of artists from the Rust Belt of North America, which apparently includes Ohio, West Virginia, Illinois, a little bit of Canada, Pennsylvania. It's hard to read this. It's limited to 1,500 copies, and there's the label. It's Trash Records. It's just black vinyl. So yeah, I was sort of intrigued to buy it just based on, I like compilations and I like bands I've never heard, and it's both. I listened to it and I like it. It's really good. You know, if there's any other volumes to it, I would like to pick those up as well. And I'll read some of the artists that's on here. It's punk rock, more or less, or like sort of garagey. There's Puberty, the Cream Cheese of Gordon's Hairline, No Bells, Garbage Day, Perverts Again, You're Not Taking Me to the Prom, Chattering Glass, 3D Hollywood, Plasma Lab, Van Cab, Mud City Manglers, One More Mile. But that's not, that's just a few of the, but they're on It's Trash Records on Bandcamp.com if you want to check it out. And then I also picked up, I'd heard, I have a documentary. I meant to get that documentary to show in this video. Um, it's a punk rock documentary that I can watch over and over. It has, it has Jello Biafra, Henry Rollins, pretty much anybody that was, a couple of the New York Dolls is in there. Actually, 2 or 3 of the New York Dolls. And it's the history of punk, more or less, and sort of even proto-punk, and then up into Nirvana and grunge a little bit. And this is one of the bands that they mentioned. This is on Bomp. It's the Weirdos, Destroy All Music. And of course I didn't have any of them because I'd never seen any. I guess this is a band that was like, was really good and never went anywhere. There's the label. Upside down, right side up. And this one's on green, transparent. And I listened to this yesterday, and I like it. It's really good. Some of the songs on here I think might be the same song. It's just different versions. Because side 1 is all demos and from their EP. And then side 2 is all from their mini album, I guess. Because I'm not sure if they did anything after this. And this is just like a compilation of everything that existed. I'm not sure. I haven't read the liner notes here on the back. But there's a cool picture there of them at, looks like a Tasty Freeze or somewhere. So yeah, the Weirdos, that's a good purchase right there. Actually, all of these were, but... And then that was the first record store we went to, and the last record store we went to, I just hadn't found what I was looking for. One of the main artists that I really wanted to get something of. I've been on a kick of this band, and like I said, goth in general, here lately. And I was wanting to find this record here. This is Bauhaus. This is their first one. And it's my first on vinyl from this group. If you're not familiar with them, they are what I consider the very beginnings of goth. And this record, I listened to this yesterday too, and I already had it on my iPod, but, listening to it on vinyl. Stigmata Martyr is the one I'm most familiar with, because I've had that song for years. But God in an Alcove. But all of this is really good. If you're not familiar with Bauhaus, you definitely want to pick up some of their stuff. And they had their second album there too, Mask, which I plan on going back and getting that if it's still there, because I'd already, sort of tapped out on my spending, so I didn't pick that one up. But, if it hadn't been for the record stores, I would have been completely dissatisfied with the record show. But, so maybe next time the record show will be in a bigger place, and they'll have a lot more room to where people can actually look. So, that's all I have in this video. That's all my purchases from Saturday. And, leave me some comments and subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for subscribing if you have. Check out my podcast. It's, Kiss Meets the Podcast. I do that with 2 other guys. Eli, which his channel is NB Drummer, and Chad, his channel is The Metal Lounge. And also check out my girlfriend's channel, Vintage Owl. Me and her have a series on there called Versus, where we rate albums and debate them. We each one alternate picking an album. I think the last episode was Van Halen. The next episode will be Duran Duran, Rio. So if you want to check that one out, it'll be coming up every other Sunday. She also has a channel called Graveyard Shift, 3 words, where we go around and just film graveyards and see some cool stuff. Check out her channels and subscribe. Please subscribe to all of those that I'd mentioned. They'd be much appreciated. So that's all the plugging I got to do. I hope you enjoyed some of those records. If you're into any of those bands, let me know. And what would be the next purchase from those bands I should get. So we'll see you in the next video coming up, like real soon.